Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm not joking. I'm there are a few people I follow. Simon Dan is one of them. Um, there's a lot of ESPN freaking alerts coming through. Who cares? Anyway, Johnny Harris, this video I just came across. I guess, because of all the people that I actually do follow, um, that are anti flat Earth, as I said, like Simon Dan and a few other people. But I guess so. I guess YouTube decided, like, well, hey, here's this guy. So I was like, it showed up in my little, the feed at the bottom thing, and I was like, all right, let me click on it and see what this person has to say. Because I was watching the latest uh, video of Simon Dan, which was posted like 16, somewhere around there, hours ago, and he basically has a comments video that he makes at least once a month or something, or every other week, something like that, where it's people that basically the commenters that just talk shit. They don't try to actually argue any points. They just come on to insult. And I don't understand those kind of people in the world. I really don't. People that say they're against bullying, they're anti-bully, but then get on somebody's page, and these are supposed to be religious people, mind you. These are supposed to be the Christians getting on somebody else's page, and you're a fucktard, and it's like, wow, such pretty mouths on these Christians out there. But we already know these flat Earth people are just insane. We know. So I happened to come across, as I said, it showed up like, hey, you should check this guy out. And Johnny Harris and why people think the world is flat. Now, mind you, as I'm watching Simon Dan's comment video, I paused it at one point and I was like, you go back to the ancient world. They didn't believe, and these are people who built structures that are still here thousands of years later. Some structures that are underwater by 100 or so meters. The only time that those structures were on land was over like 10,000 years ago. So these people built structures that are still there today. We can't build anything like that. Just 100 years can go by. My yard, right? Because we're getting a lot of rain here in El Paso. I've been warning people for a long time. This is a desert. You do know what erosion is, right? You guys have arroyos here. You do know what those are, right? You live here and you don't know what those are. It shows that it rained here in the past a lot. Climate change. It is so funny. I moved here over 25 years ago, and I'm Wiccan, so I love nature. We have an area in Virginia called Virginia Beach called Seashore State Park. I went there, of course, with a school trip as a teen, but growing up in Norfolk, and had done some traveling. Most ancient cultures knew. Well, yeah, dude, when I get into this video, I love this dude. I just started watching his video maybe about 20, 30 minutes ago, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do my first flat Earth video. This dude gets into what, and the thing is, before I even watched his video, I watch a ton, Bright Insights, Praveen Mohan. I watch a lot of people who basically their whole thing is archaeology. That's their whole thing of getting into look for yourself. It's funny when flat earthers want to say, look at things from your own perspective. There are structures that are right there in your face that engineers stone cutters, people. As I love watching the show Ancient Aliens, not because of the alien aspect, but because of the ancient cultures aspect. They have brought people who are, we're talking the top of their field, engineers, stone cutters, these people, this is their field, and taking them to these ancient cities and going, can y'all do this? And the people are like, we have no technology that can do this. We have no technology that can even move these stones. It's like, how the hell did ancient people move this shit? We're talking singular stones, the size of train cars, some of them bigger than train cars, some of them the size of buildings. And these people who are the top of their field are going, we have no idea how the fuck they did this. We have no technology today that could do what they did. And these people knew the earth was a globe. I thought about it, about when Tommy Lee Jones was telling Will Smith in Men in Black. People back then knew the earth was flat, but not that they believed. And I love the way the writers wrote that, because that's what they truly believed back then. That's what they knew. We know the earth is flat. But this video gets into it because he brings up the ancient cultures, which I really shouldn't talk about it. I should just play the video. But as I said, before playing the video, I was even bringing it up of where did this come from? Because from all the things that I have studied, I have been reading about ancient cultures since I was 5 years old. For some weird reason, at Mary Calcutt Elementary, in the library at Mary Calcutt, there were books about Nessie. There were books. I didn't care about the story. I mean, I did care about the stories, the sightings and such, but I cared about what more caught my attention of those books were how they were using sonar technology to try and map Loch Ness. And it showed underwater caves and things that at the time we didn't have the technology. This was 1975. We didn't have the technology to really try and explore something like that, kind of thing. I read books about Oak Island, and I didn't care about the mysticism about it. All I cared about was somebody was able to build something that we have no idea how the fuck they built that. And this was in 1975. I was thinking this. I read a lot. I mean, then as I grew, I was reading more books about not Egypt as in the religious aspect. I don't care about the religious aspect when it comes to Hindu temples or any of that stuff. Native Americans and the Aztecs, and I don't care about the religious aspect of any of these cultures. What I care about is these people had advanced mathematics. These people had advanced engineering. These people had advanced stone cutting and stone working, knowledge that somehow or another we just lost. That's the stuff that has always captured my attention. So it's always weird, or it is weird how somewhere along the line, because one of the videos that I was watching, as a matter of fact, as soon as I turned on YouTube today, by Praveen Mohan, he was pointing out some new things that were sent to him, or things that he had not personally seen yet. He loves going to these temples and things and seeing this stuff for himself and putting the information out there. But the thing that has caught my attention in the last few years when it comes to these ancient sites in modern day Iraq and Iran, here they are, videos coming out of them blowing up, destroying these ancient sites. Hold on, because I already know this thing is going to want to catch up and everything. They're destroying. And this has been going on for thousands of years. of people destroying or trying to destroy over thousands of years, of course, until modern explosives. The ancient, the guardians of the gates, you know, in ancient Samaria, which is modern day Iraq, modern day Iran. They've been trying to destroy a lot of these temples and things for thousands of years, or since Muslims were created. And it's like, why are you destroying something that is your own history? Screw the religious aspect. These people built shit that it literally took you until modern day explosives to actually destroy. They have been showing, like in Egypt and things, where they have been like for thousands of years trying to, with the tools that they had, obviously modern tools of the time throughout the humanity or the history of humans, trying to destroy the stuff and having no success. Yeah, chipping away at shit, but having no success until modern day explosives. Boom, now they're destroying the shit. It's like, I'm sorry, if I were sitting there, I'd be like, hey, Physique, why are we destroying this? Because it is anti-Muhammad. It is anti-Allah. But dude, forget the forget the religious part of this. Haven't our peoples been trying to destroy this shit for like thousands of years? Yes. What's your point? They built something that it took us until finally now having modern day explosives to destroy. Why can't we forget the religious aspect and just concentrate on the beauty of what they built? Because it is anti-Allah, you know? Religious people scare the fuck out of me. These religious hardcore nuts scare the shit out of me, because it's like, we must kill and destroy everything that is against Christ and God and Allah. And it's like, what, dude? They built shit that, as I said, even through thousands of years, more than 10,000 years, more than 13,000 years, they built stuff that even underwater is still standing. We can't duplicate that. Why are you destroying it? Screw the religious aspect of it and just admire and try to understand what it was. Yes, they had a religious twist to it. So what? Somehow or another, they had the knowledge to still build this. So obviously they knew something, something that we still to this day do not know. We have built some great things. Obviously, my projector and our cell phones and remotes and Bluetooth and, F-22 Raptors and the space shuttle and ISS, and we have built some great things. But obviously we have built shit that was not meant to last. They did, in a time that they should not have been able to build this stuff, because we can't do, with all the great shit we've built, we cannot duplicate what they did. We can't. Why are humans, as I've said with my coronavirus ones, in a lot of my videos, humans are the plague. Modern humans are the plague on the earth. Because I can't say the ancient, I mean, yes, obviously the people have been warring and killing each other since time immaterial. You know, we humans love to fucking kill shit and destroy shit. But obviously there were times that they built great, wonderful, beautiful things that we cannot duplicate today. So obviously they took some time off to build this shit that is still standing to this day. Seriously, you fucking religious nuts. I don't give a shit what religion it is. Stop destroying our ancient cultures. Stop. We need to understand this stuff. And I can't say before it's gone because obviously it's been lasting thousands of years. What I mean by before it's gone is you fuckers destroying the shit. Stop it. The guy who has the channel Bright Insight, he was a soldier in Iraq. And he was there before a lot of this stuff was destroyed. But after we pulled troops out, goddamn fucking Muslims went in and blew the shit up because it was against Allah. And he on his channel was like, at least I was there. At least because he had always been apparently interested in this stuff throughout his life. So the fact that he was a soldier and happened to be there, he documented as much as he could while he was there. So at least I am so thankful for people like that. Modern humans are a fucking plague. I mean, look what the hell's going on with the goddamn coronavirus. Anyway, getting off subject. Let me get into this. I mean, I've already been talking for like 16 minutes. Let me get into this.
If you were able to look through the perspective of a person who thinks the world is flat, you would see this. The North Pole is right here in the center. The continent's laid out over this plain. And here on the edges, you'd run into a 150-foot wall of ice guarded by NASA employees with guns.
And how far that ice goes outwards. And when people try to go down there, they get turned away at gunpoint and put in prison.
Here's the messed up thing. Not one video, not one, has ever come out. It's funny because if you watch any of these flat earth idiots videos, all of them talk about it. Oh yeah, if you go down there, people, NASA. You do know that there was no NASA back during like World War II and shit, right? Y'all know this. So where is this? I find it funny when flat earthers want to bring up NASA, like NASA runs the world. If that was the case, why are we worried about, I mean, if NASA runs everything? I mean, I know India has its own space program. China has its own space program. Russia obviously has its own space program. So I'm just curious how flat earthers want to bring up NASA, like NASA runs space. Well, if that's the case, why do these other countries have their own space programs? And what, NASA runs all of them? Well, then why are we worried about China and tariffs on China if obviously the United States is secretly running everything through NASA? These flat earthers are fucking idiots. Oh my God, they're so stupid. But there's not been one video ever to come out that shows that there are, like, if you go to Area 51, obviously there are going to be people that are going to fucking stop you with guns. I grew up Navy. There are people with guns right there. Not only at the gates, but at the ships, and definitely around our nuclear submarines. Funny, I've never seen one video of these mysterious men in black around the ice sheets with guns turning people away. As funny as I said, how flat earthers want to throw that shit out there, all of them, but there's been not one video of showing these people with guns and military installations set up there like it's fucking StarCraft with tanks, and shit, and just, hey, y'all better turn away. There's not been one video ever to come out showing that shit, but they keep running their mouth. Oh my God! Again, why are these people so stupid? And you can go to Antarctica. You can go. It's funny how they said they're there at the ice sheet. So then when there are people who have come out, who have gone, I've been there. Here, see, here's Antarctica. I've been there. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh, no. The people with the guns are further in. It's like you said it at the ice sheet. Now you move them further in. It's like, oh my God. They have some dumbass explanation for everything that you say. But anyway, let's continue.
Heavens are a dome that arcs over the flat Earth. The sun, the moon, the stars, they're all just little balls of light in the sky that move around just above the Earth's surface.
Yeah, but they're always out of sync. We have cell phones, we have satellite, we have all of this stuff now that there is no flat Earth model that anyone could agree on, because when you start plotting the celestial bodies, none of it works. And they know this. That's why they have no working model that they can agree on, because the sun and moon would zigzag all across the fucking Earth and shit if it was according to these flat earthers, but there's no evidence of the sun and moon zigzagging as they're, circling up there in this dome and shit. Because if you take two people to plot where the things are, like, hey, where's the moon here? And you plot it, and it was like, okay, where's the moon here? And the moon is exactly where it's supposed to be. But these flat earthers have it zigzagging, but they have no proof to show what they're fucking talking about.
There are loads of people who actually believe this. YouTube channels and Facebook pages, you'll see hundreds of thousands of followers. Google searches for the term flat earth proof over time look like this.
Okay, now that part I will criticize. Yes, the searches for flat earth proof have gone up. You know why? Because more of us are starting to go, what the fuck are these idiots even looking at for them to say that the earth is flat? So yes, the searches have gone up because more of us have been looking into it. People who are globers, we have looked into what do they consider to be proof that the earth is flat. That's it. That's the only reason why the searches have skyrocketed. It's not that it's proving. And here's the thing, flat earthers, when they want to talk about this stuff, well, oh my God, flat earth searches have gone up. So it must mean more people are believing us. No, it just means people who are having intelligence are going, what the fuck are they talking about? Yo, hey, pull that up to see what it is they're talking about. That's it. That's all it means. Unless there were actual direct comments. Literally, because if you go to their conventions, where are all these people that are flat earthers? Which, here's their explanation. Here's flat earth explanation of where these people are. They're afraid to come out because, afraid. What the fuck do you mean afraid? Like globers, like we are gonna attack them or something, like we're waiting in the wings, ready to beat them up with canes and shit. The fuck are you? What do you mean flat earthers, real flat earthers are real, and the majority of flat earthers are afraid to come out? What do you mean by that? It's like nobody cares that you're a flat earther. Nobody cares. So for y'all to be say literally, that is what they're saying, is that people are afraid to come out to show that they're flat earthers. That's why they're not showing up at the conventions. No, that's not it. Why is it that you have many more people? And this is what's funny, because there are videos, even though they're not put together, there are videos that when you go, I've been meaning to go to the Alien Con. I've been meaning to go to that. I've been wanting to meet David Childress, Giorgio Tsoukalos, oh my God, Eric Von Daniken. I've been wanting to meet these people. You go to any of, and these tickets sell out. We're talking, they are sold out. Their conventions are fucking packed. So you ask a flat earther, why is it your conventions look like the coronavirus is going on and there's like hardly anybody there? Yet you go to something like Alien Con and the place is, their convention is packed. Over the like 3 days that they do the convention, 2 or 3 days that they do the convention, why is it packed? Oh, because it's people there to ridicule. Wait, so hold on. Y'all are afraid to come out supporting the flat earth, but not afraid to go and ridicule at Alien Con. What? You people, these people are just insane. They're absolutely insane. The earth is not flat, just stupid. Because I have a pet tarantula. She's in her terrarium right now. I can't imagine that God is up there looking down and we're in this giant fucking terrarium and he's just looking. I can't imagine it. It just doesn't make any sense. The latest thing now is that Mark Sargent, fucking he's like the head of Flat Earth Society, is the ISS is real, but there are no people on it. What? These people believe that there's no such thing as satellites, even though you could be in the middle of nowhere and have a sat phone and it work. And it's like, oh, it's because there are these high altitude balloons that are up there. What the fuck? So that's what satellites are? Is high altitude There was one, I can't remember where the fuck it is. I don't know if I added it to my political folder, but there are people that believe we have attached physical devices to the dome that is up there, the firmament, and that's what satellites are. Is that the government has, the creation of satellites are nothing but just these mechanical devices that are attached to the dome. That's what they believe. Even though a whole bunch of us, what is it? The Nikon P100, P1000 that can zoom in or whatever so much. There are a ton of people I have a telescope. I want one of the really, 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 it's a kind of a cheap telescope, but I want one of the really, really good ones. But there are a lot of people I know who have those. And wouldn't you see that? No, they're hiding them. So not only do we have devices attached to the dome, we also have cloaking technology. These flat earthers I'm Wiccan, and these flat earthers have science to where it is pretty much magic. These people are just insane. But let's keep going. I got to keep stopping the video. I got to stop that.
Become incredibly popular. And recently a poll showed that only 84% of Americans agree with the statement, "I have always believed the world is round." 84%.
Yeah, but what is the actual sample size of the people they asked this question? Was it like when they do Family Feud and we interviewed 100 people? What sample size are we talking? So I want to see who put that poll out there for people to say only 86% believe that the Earth is round.
And if you're 18 to 24, that's more like 66%, which is like dangerously close to half. What is going on here?
Now the North Pole is the center of a deep ocean, whereas the South Pole is the center of a high plateau, which averages 7,000 or 8,000 feet in altitude.
This is frustrating, and what's even more frustrating is every time I try...
I got a question for y'all. Wouldn't flat earthers... it's funny, because a lot of flat earthers believe in this whole climate change thing, which the climate changes. Obviously, we have sunken cities under like more than 100 meters of water. So the climate has always changed. It has always changed. But I'm just curious, wouldn't flat earthers be happy about the ice sheets melting? Wouldn't they be happy about that? Or unless they believe that the ice sheets melt means all the water is just going to flow off this flat earth, which, okay, would be funny because don't we live in a dome? It's an enclosed dome. It's an enclosed system. If it's an enclosed system, then no, the water wouldn't go anywhere. So therefore, again, wouldn't you be happy about the ice sheets melting so we can actually get to the dome? Y'all should be happy about the ice sheets melting.
to look into this and understand it. All I see is coverage of like flat earther conventions and like interviews with these people.
We absolutely know for a fact this ain't it.
These interviews are interesting, but I want to understand like how someone with a thinking brain can actually get behind this. What is this actual belief? Where does it come from? And how do potentially millions of people believe that the earth is flat?
The water is completely flat, as far as we can see and as far as we've measured. And the horizon is completely flat.
I'm in Mexico now. I've been sitting on the beach reading everything there is to read about the history of people who believe the earth is flat. And there's one thing that I just had to try for myself.
This is a simple experiment that anybody can conduct to determine definitely that the earth is flat. Grab a spirit level and take it on the plane.
117. Found this hardware store, bought myself a level. Gracias, amigo.
One of the stranger things you've ever done.
And I'm bringing it with me on the airplane. I'm going to do some of this empirical science myself.
If you are to fly on a non-rotating Earth, please explain what kind of experience will a pilot really have.
The logic goes that if the Earth is round and I'm flying thousands of miles, which I'm about to do, then the airplane will have to be tipped a little bit the whole time in order to make it around the curvature of the Earth.
The plane should be constantly dipping its nose forward in order to compensate for the curvature.
Show me some planes with this.
I would be able to see the tilt of the airplane if I put my newly purchased level on the tray table in front of me.
I'm going to take my spirit level onto the plane.
If my tool shows me that the plane is totally level,
That's proof that the earth is flat.
let's go see what happens.
Oh, these people are just religious nuts. I'm glad for this guy. You know, we already know that the plane. Do these people know how big the earth is? I swear, it's like they have no idea about size. Damn, asking them about the size of a penis, obviously, you know? Holy fuck. The earth is huge. Huge. Do you know that when it comes to building a huge building, in order for they have to compensate over a curve. They have. Oh my God, these people are so fucking stupid. I don't even. These people are absolutely ridiculous. The Earth is gigantic, gigantic. You're not. I can't even.
Can somebody explain to me duty free? Why perfume? Why is there so much perfume in duty free? Before I was on an airplane, and I'm back. My little level experiment worked wonderfully. The bubble stayed nice and center. Turns out the plane was not dipping its nose in order to make it around the Earth. This is explained by the basics of...
Mark Sargent was on some British channel, British news, whatever. And he was asked, are pilots... I mean, you brought up NASA. So are pilots in on this joke, this fakeness of the Earth being a globe? Are pilots in on this? And he was like, well, no, I don't think that they're really in on it. I mean, it's absolutely when you start. So everyone, do they not realize everyone would have to be in on this? Everybody, the military, civilian pilots. I mean, it's like you can go get a pilot's license. When you go to get a pilot's license, do they somehow give you a flat Earth class? You know, hey, before you get this license, we're going to let you in on the biggest secret there is. the earth is flat, okay? Just don't tell anyone else outside of this class. It's so stupid.
Gravity and physics. This video is not a debunk of flat Earth theory. That doesn't need to happen. That shouldn't need to happen. What this is my fascination with the fact that there is lots of people, let's put it this way, a non-zero number of humans who think the world is flat, and they work really hard to prove it. I want to understand what sorts of tools are being used to prove the world is flat. So here we go. I wonder if I can get some really dramatic, like, conspiracy theory lighting going on here.
What if the Earth actually is flat? The plane wasn't dipping. The level was flat. Okay, I'm kidding. Let's get into this. I've been in the weeds learning about the flat Earth experience, what people believe and why, and where it all came from. And here's what I've learned. Number one, flat earthers have become a thing just in the past couple hundred years. So by like 205 BC, you've got these really smart Greek people making experiments that are like observing a globe-shaped Earth. Over the next several centuries, eventually this would just become the widespread thing among anyone.
No, because even among the ancient Sumerians, which is one of the oldest civilizations on this planet, they knew the earth was a globe. They knew. So the Aztecs, the Maya, they knew the earth was a globe. The most ancient civilizations knew the earth was a globe. So I'm trying to understand, which he will get into, where it started to, where these dumbass flat earthers just decided to come out of the woodwork.
Who was doing experimentation on the world. And eventually, nobody believed the earth was flat. Even in like the medieval times, like it was a consensus that the earth was a globe. So in short, flat earthers weren't a thing during this time. Even though literally in elementary school, I was taught that Christopher Columbus, like his voyage was somehow to prove that the earth was round, or maybe it was flat, and that there was like some debate around that. That's actually a total legend. And I have no idea why I was taught that in elementary school.
I remember that. I remember being taught that in elementary school, that part of the whole thing of Christopher Columbus was to prove that the earth was a globe because they believed that the earth was flat. I remember being taught that shit.
I actually am genuinely curious. Like, how did that happen? The fact is, Christopher Columbus, the Catholic Church, the Spanish patrons, no one thought the earth was flat. But then they became a thing. Any sort of flat earther movement didn't actually come around, ironically, until science was really starting to heat up. During the mid-1800s, a huge amount of scientific breakthrough was happening. The scientific method was taking off, and huge breakthroughs in biology, physics, anatomy, and mathematics were taking place. But at the time, there were also people who were becoming uncomfortable with how advanced scientific methods were getting. These guys were like, hold on a second, you have all these fancy new tools to inquire into the world and to understand reality, but these tools are getting like too sophisticated and too abstract and theoretical. They're becoming too disconnected from like what I can see and understand and touch and feel. They wanted to bring science back to what it had been for a really long time, which is that like a person goes out, uses simple tools like a telescope to look at the world and to make conclusions about how the world works. So it's the...
And that's when I decided, okay, I was watching the video, just being entertained by it. And this is when he got into that point, is when I decided, nope, I need to do my first anti-flat earth video. But he's right. Because when me and my friends get together, I was counterintelligence when I was in the military. Got a lot of other friends who were counterintelligence, a lot of friends who were engineers, a lot of friends, who are doctors. So we get together, and when we start talking about stuff, there will be people, I'm not even talking about in our group, there will be people just sitting around us, like if we're at a restaurant or something, and they almost like they'll approach us or they'll say something to us, and it's almost like they got offended by what we were talking about, you know, and it's like, hey, and I'm joking, I'm being just joking in this part right here, you know, just acting, but hey, we ain't understanding this fancy talk that you guys are doing. That's basically, I had relatives growing up, and I just talked about this last night. Had relatives growing up, my country relatives. I mean, I consider myself a country boy because grandma went out of the way to like ride a horse, slopping the hogs, all of that shit up at the crack of dawn. Grandma was hardcore, and because my mom and my dad both grew up country, but they moved to the city. My dad was Navy, and when I was born at Portsmouth Naval Hospital, so and grew up in Norfolk, so I was in the city. But mom always took us to go see grandma in the country. And grandma was like, for that time I got you, I'm gonna knock that city shit out of you. So I'm a country boy at heart. And okay, I don't have a country accent unless I'm around my country friends and relatives, then yeah, it comes out. But when I'd be around those relatives, it's like, oh, you think you're better than us because you speak proper, oh, you think you're better than us because you live in the city, and you go to the fancy schools, and and it's like, I'm just, don't we all? And this is me as a kid going, is 1 + 1 different in the country? I mean, I'm being insulting by saying, but this is how I was back at them. They try to insult me, and me coming back at them would be, is math different in the country? Is English, science, and all that different in the country? Do we not have the same textbooks? My grandmother not only was on the farm, but she also worked part-time at a school. So there were a ton of books, and I loved reading. Obviously, there were only 3 channels, which of course, grandma and grandpa basically controlled the TV. So there was nothing left to do except listen to radio, which in the country was mostly country. So I grew up listening mostly to country music, gospel on Sundays with grandma, and John Denver, and a lot of oh my God, I loved listening to like Zeppelin, and because I loved those rock stations. There were no rap back then. The only black music in the house was like my uncle's, and grandma had one of those old console. Oh, my friend still has one, man. He's an electronics, like an engineer, but he collects old like technology. His couch, which he's had reupholstered, is from like the 1950s. He's got a chair that's from like 1970, and he's had it reupholstered. He's got one of the old console. Oh my God, dude. We were at his house last night. Fucking love this shit. He collects, even though he works with modern technology, he collects old technology. I was like fascinated as fuck at his house. But so he's going on about this, or anyway, so we're going on about this, about the technology and everything, and trying to understand, how people can believe all the stuff that they, believe. As I said, it's so anyway, reading books and all these things. Math was still math, science was still science, English was still English in the country. But I understand what he's trying to say. I got a little sidetracked there, sorry. I understand what he's trying to say. He's trying to tell me, he's trying to say, and I understand it because I understood it back then. Science started getting so complicated. I don't understand calculus. I trigonometry. I don't understand that shit. Don't care to. There are people you do that, you know? But the whole thing of science started getting more complicated. We wouldn't have the Hadron Collider. We wouldn't have laptops. We wouldn't have remote controls. We wouldn't have projectors. We wouldn't have any of the modern technology if we just listened to I have a cousin who's a Billy Bob, so don't get mad at me, anybody out there named Billy Bob, okay? If we had just listened to the common person, the average, so not even the average, the majority of humans that do not understand scientific method in engineering, and if we had listened to the idiots out here, we wouldn't have any of this. For me to be here right now on YouTube, we would not have any of this technology if we had just listened to the Billy Bobs of the world. The church, do you have any idea? This is the reason why I get real pissed off, not just passionate, pissed off when I'm hearing about when it comes through as far as how Da Vinci, a lot of the work that he was doing, he had to hide a lot of his work from the church. He did basic shit for the church so he could get funding for the research he really wanted to do. Do you have any idea if the church if people like that had not been hindering technology, hindering just knowledge, do you have any idea how much further for humanity we would be right now? We probably would have flying cars and all that shit right now if it wasn't for the church literally going in and arresting people for heresy, murdering them, destroying their work. You know, if it wasn't for the church, this is why I'm not anti-church or anti-religion for the sake of the human soul. Fuck y'all, whatever. What I'm pissed off about is you guys hindered our growth. Fuck the religious aspect of it. You hindered our technological growth. We would be so much further. Do you have any idea the technology? When I graduated from Western Tech for microcomputer technology, do you have any idea? Just literally in the year that I graduated, technology exploded. Just in the time frame that I graduated, while we were in school, new shit had come out. And they were like, hey, we're going to cancel. This is in school. We're canceling this class because it's irrelevant now. This is what we're going into. This is while we are at the school. They were like, okay, this is obsolete. They're no longer even making this shit. We're going into this. Technology just in that time frame exploded. Can you imagine if the church had not hindered our technological growth, where we would be today? So yeah, this is just beyond stupid when it comes to these people that want, oh no, this is too smart, you know, for us. So we got to limit you people. But that's apparently what happened, which obviously we know that's what happened.
1800s, science is like having its time. And you have these guys, usually from like the US and the UK, who want to throw out this growing body of like amazing advancements in science. And they start to do experiments. Here's what those experiments look like. So the summer of 1838, England, up in the county of Cambridgeshire, which literally sounds like a place in The Lord of the Rings. So it's the summer of 1838, and the atom had just been discovered, and the Doppler effect is like being fleshed out. And then you've got this guy. His name is Samuel Rowbotham, but he goes by the pseudonym Parallax, which is actually a pretty dope name. Like if I were a DJ, I would totally go with like Parallax. Anyway, Parallax decides, even though all this science is happening, he thinks
I always thought Parallax was a DC character. Wasn't he an enemy of the Green Lantern or something? Anyway.
It's time to reopen up the debate about whether or not the Earth is a globe, which was like literally settled thousands of years earlier. But he's like, no, let's do it. And he finds this canal system that is incredibly straight. This canal goes on for almost 10 kilometers, like 6 miles of just a straight line. This guy says, if the Earth is a globe, and people say it's 25,000 miles in circumference, then if I look at a straight line, after the first mile, the curvature of the Earth would mean that the canal would now be 8 inches lower. After 2 miles, it would be 32 inches lower. After 3 miles, 72 inches lower, meaning like 6 feet, almost 2 meters, and so on. So he thinks eventually the dip from the curvature of the Earth would be so great that you could easily observe it. So he gets in the water, he puts a telescope right above the surface of the water, and then puts a boat on the canal with a 1 meter tall post on it. So what he wants to see is if the Earth is curved, if it's a globe, this post will start to disappear over the horizon. So he does it. The boat goes away, it goes the entire 6 miles of the canal, and it stays in sight the entire time. It doesn't dip over the horizon. And he's stoked. He's like, man, I just proved that the Earth is flat. And I did it with a telescope and a boat. Like, screw you, science. Like, I'm making breakthroughs right here in Cambridgeshire. And then he writes this book where he fleshes out this experiment and several others that he does. But wait, this experiment's like kind of legit, right? Like, it adds up. Like, his numbers were all correct about the circumference, the dip of the curvature. Like, why didn't it dip? Like, why was the boat still in sight? There's nothing wrong with this experiment. Parallax got that great name. Maybe he was onto something. No, this is stupid. This is like a 3rd grade science experiment in your backyard. This experiment doesn't take into account how the natural world actually works and how light behaves and refracts based on the different air densities. This is like stuff that people already figured out. And like Parallax is sitting there getting wet in a canal, like trying to observe this on his, no, this does not prove anything. But Parallax didn't want to hear any of this. He didn't want to talk about atmospheric refraction and air density and how light behaves in different media. Too complicated, too abstract. You can't touch and feel that stuff. Instead, Parallax sees science and observing reality as...
Well, then I guess me just pausing the video right now is magic. So this is my magic. This is my Harry Potter wand right here, y'all. Right here, because I can't see. I can't see the signal from here to you know my thing. You know, well, that was cool. Anyway, Buddhist temple all of a sudden. I can't see the signal, so therefore this has got to be magic. It's not science. It's magic. Oh my God, this is so stupid.
A much simpler task.
I mean, hey, how am I watching this video, right? Is the guy inside my TV? Is he there? You know, I don't understand this television stuff. I don't get it.
In his book, he says, nature speaks to us in a peculiar language, in the language of phenomena. She answers at all times the questions which are put to her. Just like go out and like put a question to Mother Nature and she'll answer it. As scientific methods become more sophisticated, they become harder for you and me to understand. Parallax and...
But again, we wouldn't have modern technology if we just based it on idiots like this Parallax. We would not have YouTube. We wouldn't have the internet that Al Gore created, you know. We wouldn't have any of this shit if we based it on idiots like Parallax. None of the technology we have would exist right now if it weren't.
These canal experiments are a reaction to all of this. They are a call for a simplification of scientific methods and a return of the senses as the primary force for understanding reality. He called his method of reductionist pseudoscience the Zetetic method. He says that
I guess this donut must be the Earth. Look at this, man. Boston cream. Oh my God, so good.
But the full front. Just look at it. Go out and observe it for yourself. He was among several scientists and mathematicians at the time who were on this train of let's use really simplified reductionist math and science to prove that the Earth is actually flat. This argument of the flat Earth flickered for a little bit in the 1800s, gained a little bit of traction.
Now, mind you, this was in the 1800s. 1876 is apparently when that paper was, or whatever, was published. We are now in 2020. Math and science still prove math and science. And these people, with all the modern technology that we have, still cannot prove that the Earth is flat.
But then eventually it died out until just a few years ago.
I refuse to be another vegetable. Pseudoscience garbage will to me be unacceptable. Anyone with eyes to see don't have to be susceptible. Dispose of your globe in the nearest waste receptacle.
There is no curvature to this Earth. There is no motion to this Earth. You just accept the globe model with no understanding of the flat and no clear evidence for the ball Earth. Do you see the problem there?
Flat Earthers are back, and their methods are very similar to what Parallax was doing in the 1800s.
And this is data. This is repeatable, observable, measurable.
If you take the time.
But here's a question I've been trying to put out there in the ether for any flat earther to answer. Where is your God? If the Earth is flat, because these are not just flat earthers, these are religious nuts. Where is your God? If we are in a dome, and God is out there beyond the firmament, the dome of this terrarium that we're in, where is he? All the suffering that is going on. You would think you wouldn't take it the way that you guys are taking it. There are people dying out there. Coronavirus, wars. Yeah, not many in the coronavirus, whatever. But the flu, cancer. We've got people dying. Alcoholism-related incidents, murder, Chicago, Detroit. We got all this stuff going on. If your God really exists because God created all of us and we're in this terrarium that God created, why are you not taking this more seriously? Hey, God's watching. Y'all need to stop killing each other and pissing God off. See, why are y'all not taking this more seriously? I mean, I'm sorry, but that's what I would do. If I were a flat earther, religious nut, I wouldn't be talking just about the flat earth. I'd be preaching, about violence and being anti-violence and, God, hey, why are y'all not doing that? It's like y'all are separate. Y'all talk about the flat earth thing. Yeah, you sprinkling God, you're doing your whole sprinkling God and everything. But wouldn't y'all take this more seriously? It's not about the earth. Here's my point. It's not, if you truly believe the earth is flat, so then it's no longer about the earth being flat. The majority of what y'all should be talking about, the majority of your conferences, you notice how they're flat earth conventions? Why are they not the proof of God conventions? How about that? Why are they not named something along those lines? Because I'm sorry, but that's what popped in my head. If you guys truly believe that the earth is flat and you believe that we're in this terrarium that God created, why are y'all not more speaking about that aspect? Why is God not at the top? Because this is what you believe. So why is not God, your God, at the top of your list? Why is your flat earth shit above God? That doesn't make any sense to me.
To learn, you will change your mind. There's no doubt. The only reason people think they live on a spinning ball is willful ignorance.
They're still zooming into horizons, but now they have hordes of visual stuff to play around with. They now have airplanes. They now have satellite imagery to play around with. They now have the moon landing to dissect. And now they're taking levels onto airplanes, like I did.
Your plane can't go upside down. Here's the thing, little bugger.
Like the flat earthers in the 1800s.
You also notice if you watch any of these flat earth video idiots, they are among, I mean, I'm insulting. I don't give a fuck because I don't care. But again, you're not just a flat earther, you're a religious nut. So if you're such a religious nut, have you noticed, me and my friends were standing outside. What they did, this was First View Baptist. I'm trying to remember. This church that I did go to for a little bit of time, for a short amount of time. I went to this church. It was right there. I was living with godparents and their big ass house on Chesapeake Boulevard, and the church was like right here. So as I'm like doing the backyard, huge backyard and everything, the church is right there. Like that, their property is on the other side of the fence. And so I ended up going to this church. Well, we were going to this religious concert in Hampton. Yeah, in Hampton. We were going to this religious concert, this Christian concert. Great concert, mind you. I do love Christian music. We're there waiting to get on the bus for everybody to gather. And a van of those, the people that wear like the old stuff with the scarves, I can't think of what the hell they are, back in Virginia, not Quakers or anything. No, it's, I don't know, one of the other crazy religious people. We're in the parking lot of the church getting to go ready to go to a Christian concert. And the van of these crazy religious people drive by and go, you're all going to hell. And, you know, because you're following the wrong teachings of God and you're all going to go to hell. And we're sitting there in the parking lot of the church going, do they not know this is a church? And we're about to go to a Christian concert. But it's these people that like, they try to avoid technology as much as they can, even though they were driving a van, you know, those weird people. Yeah, the Mennonites. Yes, we have some of them here in El Paso. Some, not a lot, but some. Like, there's way more back in Virginia. But those people, religious people, especially the hardcore religious people, like flat earthers, which again, you would think that why is it a flat earth convention if God is the reason why y'all are doing this? Why would you call it flat earth? Why would, flat earth society? Wouldn't you call it God is great society? And just promote your flat earth? Why wouldn't God be at the top? Anyway. But those people, you notice, because I remember when we used to go to Virginia Beach, which of course during the summer, you had women in those string bikinis and shit like, yeah, woo, man. Anyway, and there would be those people literally on soapboxes preaching the word. Those crazies. It is, but have you noticed that those people are amongst you watch Simon Dan's videos. These people are, I cursed. I didn't curse until I joined the army, but these people are insane. Simon Dan, you're a total fucktard and you should be dead. And it's like, aren't you people Christians? What is wrong with you people? You people are losing your goddamn minds. I curse, but then again, I'm not a Christian, so I don't care. My religion is nature. So, because I could see nature, I could hug a tree, I could see it, I praise the earth itself because we live on it and I don't want the earth to go anywhere, because I kind of do like life. I love life, but if it was my time to go, it's my time to go. So if a virus were to kill everybody off, I'd be like, hey, whatever, the earth will be fine. But let's continue. Oh my God, these people are saying, I'm loving this dude. I'm loving this guy, Johnny Harris. Loving his channel.
The flat earthers today want to use their own intuition and senses to understand reality. And in the process, they reject and ignore the huge body of science that we all live with today.
So people that have physics degrees, astronomy degrees, they got their degree by regurgitating what their teacher in the books told them.
Instead of
No. you do realize people that get these degrees are pushed to create their own theories. They are pushed. We would not have a lot of the technology we have today if people were just regurgitating as that flat worth, as he said. If we were just regurgitating what the teacher and the book said, we wouldn't have this technology. Because there'd be people just going, I'm just going, fucking the Borg. You know, I don't actually know the Borg assimilate technology to get better. So no, can't use the Borg as an example. But we have the technology, the things that we have, because people are, you know, not just learning things, but they're learning new things, new ideas. Excuse me. New ideas are coming out. Woo, tacos. Sorry, guys. New ideas are coming out. We have the technology we have because of science. They're trying to combat the coronavirus right now because of science. It's funny. I posted in one of my videos, I think it was my Facebook video, where I said, you know, it's funny. Aren't you, you know, you people that are Christians out there, why are you going to doctors? Isn't God going to just protect you? Although I do believe the whole thing of, well, God gave me these hands to save your life. God, you know, gave me this brain to come up with new ways of saving your life. So I'll give it that, you know. But again, we wouldn't have the technology we have if we were just regurgitating. Let's back that up so we can hear it again, because people are fucking idiots.
Things can't go upside down. Here's the thing, little bugger.
But look at that. See how insulting these people are? You're supposed to be Christians. You're supposed to be turn the other cheek and all this sweet, innocent, nice bullshit. And yet y'all are the most insulting people out there.
Like the flat earthers in the 1800s, the flat earthers today want to use their own intuition and senses to understand reality. And in the process, they reject and ignore the huge body of science that we all live with today.
So people that have physics degrees, astronomy degrees, they got their degree by regurgitating what their teacher in the books told them.
Instead of trigonometry and telescopes and canals, the flat earthers today use videos and photos circulated on the internet.
The azimuthal equidistant projection map that the USGS actually uses.
Look at this. Look how skewed Australia is. Look how squished, you know, look how everything is out of shape. None of their math, that's the reason why they have no flat earth model that works. None. Because every measurement is wrong. Every measurement. If they were to make Australia exactly the size it would be, instead of all flat and skewed, then the math wouldn't work. It's so, dude, the math for a globe works. The math works. A globe model works. Flat Earth, nothing works in math. Which that's the latest thing now, because when I've heard people who have asked that question to them, how come the math doesn't match up? It's like, oh, well, y'all are using this, you know, fake math. Fake, you can run the numbers yourself, right? What fake math? You do know that rulers don't magically change. Oh my God, why are these people so stupid?
Is the flat Earth map.
Wait, did he just say azimuthal equidistant projection? That's like my favorite projection. Is that the flat Earth map? Don't fuck with me in projections. I take them very seriously. In true internet fashion, this new current movement of flat earthers has become just a bunch of bumper sticker type assertions and images that are really easy to share. Just like Parallax's experiments, these methodologies completely ignore the way the natural world is observed to work by like thousands of years of scientific consensus. But if you go to the FAQ page of the Flat Earth Society, you'll see what they're after here. They believe that evidence is, quote, relying on your own senses to discern the true nature of the world around us. That's the best evidence. And in that vein,
That's what these people are doing.
I mean, so in the physics world today, do they not understand that convex lenses or fisheye lenses or GoPro had a distorted view?
So, what have I learned from all of this? From my understanding, the flat earther movement, whether from the 1800s or today on the internet, is actually not totally about the shape of the earth. This movement has a much broader message built into it. There's a reason why 1984 is like in the canon of the flat earther movement. 1984 has nothing to do with the shape of the earth. What it does have to do with is being skeptical of big institutions that are probably watching you, that are probably controlling your life, that are probably feeding you bad information to retain power.
We're not crazy, we're just sick of the lies.
Here's the thing. Most of the knowledge we have about the natural world and the universe, we've never seen. We've never seen exoplanets or the deep space telescopes that tell us so much about our universe. Instead, we read about this stuff. We benefit from its findings. We pay our taxes to fund more of it. Science is like a tall tower, and each individual researcher and institution adds a little brick to that tower, each brick resting on the one below it. No one person sees or understands all of the bricks. Instead, we have a system of debate, review, scrutiny that only allows the most accurate information to be added to the tower. And honestly, I don't think...
But again, all of these things can be done yourself. You can do these experiments yourself. Are all scientists brainwashed? I mean, that math is math. Are you telling me that as people get smarter, the dumber they get? I mean, hey, this guy's getting really smart. We better indoctrinate him really quick into the, that the earth is a globe. We better fucking brainwash him really quick because he's getting too smart. Are there no intel? Because if you ask any flat earther to do the math themselves, they ignore math. They deliberately go out of their way to ignore math because they say math and science are lies. But again, 1 + 1 is different in the flat earth community. I'm trying, because there are some flat earth videos that are out there that they are actually saying math is fake. And everybody is going, we wouldn't have technology if math was not real. We wouldn't have the Great Pyramids if math was not real. It's like, what is... I really do not understand what is wrong with these people. These people have lost their fucking minds. So, hey, how about the people who back in the day, when I went just a few weeks ago, I was at the Arizona Ren Fair, and there was a girl working one of the old-fashioned looms, making cloth for them to make authentic garb. And I was just standing there fast. I mean, I saw this as a kid when I would go to Williamsburg and Jamestown and all that back, in Virginia and stuff. And there were people that were doing this stuff and the blacksmith and things. Not everybody was a blacksmith back in the day. Not everybody knew how to loom and make clothes or weave silk. Not everybody knew how to do that. So were they magicians? Well, you didn't know how to do it. The common person does, these flat earthers. The common person, did you watch the shirt that you're wearing? Did you watch it be made? So how do you know it's real? How do you know your shirt's real? Well, because I could touch it, but you didn't make it. Remember, it needs to be easily observable by the person, by you. So what'd you do? You just went to Walmart and bought it? Did it magically appear in Walmart? Well, no, I know that there are shipping trucks. How do you know? Were you there when that particular shirt was made? Where did they get it's 100% cotton? Were you there when the cotton grew? Were you there when the cotton was picked? Were you there when the cotton was processed and made, and made it to the shirt? Were you there when the dyes were made to put? Were you there for all of it? Well, then how do you know that shirt's real? How do you know? Because you could touch it? Well, you didn't observe it. So how do you know? The camera that you're using to go on YouTube, were you there when it was made? How do we know the circuitry isn't some magical thing, electricity? Obviously, we can see an electrical storm, we can see lightning, but the electricity that is powering your camera, can you see it? Can you? Well, how do you know it's real? This is why these people are just so fucking stupid when they want to talk about everything that needs to be proved. Fuck science, throw out engineering, throw it all out. You need to see it for yourself, because the guy pointed it out in his video. You need to observe it yourself and before you can trust it. Don't even listen to me. Go observe it for yourself. Okay, well, again, so this remote is not real because I didn't observe it being made. I'm holding it in my hand, but I didn't observe it being made, so therefore it's not real. And I understand if I were to say that to a flat earther, that they would be like, no, you're just mocking me. No, I'm mocking what the fuck you just said. You said I need to observe it for myself before I could believe it. Well, I didn't observe you being born. I didn't see your mom give birth to you. I didn't watch your parents conceive you. So how do I know you're real? This is based on what the dumbass shit you just said. It's like that we need to observe it ourselves. Believe your own eyes. Trust your own senses. Okay, well, I do see you standing. I can see the sun, but why should I believe you that it's some spotlight? Because that's what they believe. They truly believe that it is some spotlight. Okay, what's powering it, though? Is it technology that's powering it, like the Truman Show? Or is it magic? It's magic, right? It's magic. I'm Wiccan, and I'm sitting here even laughing about this shit.
Humans are well suited to adapt to this very impersonal way of understanding the world. We have evolved over millions of years with our senses as our main driver of survival. And now we live in a society that is run by big systems and impersonal institutions that we will never touch and feel, much less understand. And that's why we have people who believe the world is flat, despite...
He just said it. Again, I can't see the signal that is coming out of this remote to the box over there. I can't see the signal. So how do I trust that it's real?
Conclusive evidence to the contrary. This belief is a proxy for a much larger paradigm that mistrusts anything that you can't touch and feel. And so, yeah, I'm really sad that only 84% of people can say with certainty that they've always believed the world is a globe. And that's 64% for younger people. Only 64% of people. Like that just blows my mind, and it's incredibly sad.
Why are they on YouTube then? Why are they on Twitter then? You can't see the signal that's transmitting it. You don't understand the science and the engineering behind the capture of the video. I'm sitting here, but yet I can see myself on the screen there. I can't see the magic that's happening. Therefore, why should I believe that this is real? This video, y'all, isn't real, everybody. What you're watching is all an illusion. All of it. Everything's an illusion because y'all aren't personally touching me and seeing me for yourself. Therefore, I'm not real. How do you know I'm not deep fake? Oh my God, what is wrong with these people?
But despite this belief, this movement, these conventions, this total lunacy, science will continue to do its thing. It will continue to go out, observe the world with these amazing tools that we have, come back, debate it, and add to this tower of knowledge that helps us see the world as it really is.
I learned something just recently, even though I've known about atoms and, electrons and protons. I know all this stuff, but somebody pointed out you are not actually touching a solid object when you're touching a solid object. because when the smaller that you get as far as breaking down the elements, the smaller that you get, all it is just the way that those things are put together in order to make that solid object. But me clapping my hands, they're not actually touching, because the smaller you get, they're all separate little, it's like, it really blew my mind when I was watching that video. It's like, holy shit, they're right. We're all made up of the tiniest atoms and everything else that just is thrown together to create a solid object. But when you're touching another solid object, you're not actually really touching it, because everything is moving. All the atoms, which as we know for a fact is real. We all know that this shit is real. But again, we can't touch it. You can't see it for yourself. So, I mean, really, when they show DNA and how they can manipulate DNA, flat earthers should say that isn't real because they can't see it with the naked eye. Just, oh my God. The electricity inside of a battery, because I got a whole bunch of batteries sitting over there. How is it real? It's not doing anything. It's literally just sitting in its battery state right now. It's just sitting there, but I know that when I pick it up, I mean, it's making me think of when whatchamacallit was talking about the Matrix. I know this steak isn't real, but I could smell it. When I put it in my mouth, it's going to taste, I know that the battery has electricity in it, even though I can't see it. These flat earthers are just, they're insane. They're absolutely insane. But anyway, let me finish this video. I already knew that this one was going to go on a little bit, even though his video only is about 18 minutes, almost 19 minutes. I already knew that mine would go long because it was going to be my first video specifically talking about it, because this channel isn't just set up for like, a one specific thing. I've got a lot of people that I follow. Young Rippa 59. I think that's the name of his channel, Young Rippa 59. Hold on, let me look, because he's probably gonna pop up on one of my damn things. Let me see. Let me make sure. But Praveen Mohan that I spoke at the beginning of this video, he's just going around to these ancient sites, and pointing, and he loves being able to point these things out for yourself. Let me see. Young Rippa history. Where is it? Yeah, Young Rippa 59. Young RIPPA 59. And he talks about a lot of comic book stuff, but it is not just about that. He talks about a whole bunch of shit. So when but he mostly talks about comic book stuff. So when he gets off topic to bring up stuff dealing with like politics or whatever, he's a libertarian, by the way. People get that mad. Oh, I can't believe you changed the subject. Your channel is supposed to be about comic book stuff. And he's like, who the fuck are you to tell me what my channel is? He goes, I mainly talk about comic book stuff, but I have never once said that that's what my channel only is about. Well, same with my channel. My channel is not just about political shit. It's about differences between men and women, which there are. Men and women are fucking different. I'll talk about comic book stuff. I'll talk about movie stuff. I'll talk about gaming stuff. I'll talk about music. My channel, I'll talk about anything and everything I fucking want because it's my fucking channel. But anyway, yo, Polar Bear, everybody out there, Will, all y'all, take it easy, and we'll talk at y'all later.